Brown's promise, I'll take any sanctions necessary over the MP's expenses scandal. The Prime Minister has repeated how appalled he is by the revelations over allowances, promising the strongest punishment for breaking the rules. Tonight we have the latest on a new round of newspaper allegations. Also on the programme, going to court, the McCanns sue a former Portuguese police chief over his claims about Madeline's league title as Sir Alex Ferguson guides his team to victory again. Good evening. Gordon Brown tonight promised to wield the axe over any ministers found cheating on their expenses, saying anyone defying the rules will not be serving in my government. The Prime Minister's hardline vow came after a second MP was suspended from the Labour Party over allegations of payments for a mortgage which didn't exist. Tonight, another group of MPs found their names dragged into the scandal, with claims in the Sunday Telegraph over yet more flat-screen televisions, furniture and household items, all paid for by the taxpayer. Here's our political correspondent, Lucy Manning.
The Prime Minister's been appalled by what he's read. His threat to his MPs, if you've broken the rules, you're out. But the tough talking in tomorrow's News of the World comes as another Labour MP is suspended. As David Chater tried to get elected, he would travel round the constituency by motorbike. Now he's accused of taking us all for a ride, claiming £13,000 for a mortgage that didn't exist. An unforgivable error, he told the Telegraph, and his constituents might not forgive him.
David Chater.
Last week he was asking the Prime Minister a question. Now the Prime Minister wants answers. He'll be investigated by Parliament's sleaze watchdog. Tomorrow's Sunday Telegraph reveals details about those MPs who tried to keep the Commons expenses system a secret. Labour election strategist Fraser Kemp told the paper it was an error that he'd claimed for 16 bedsheets in 7 weeks and 2 DVD players just a month apart. He'll repay some money. And Labour's David Cleland is accused of buying his partner out of a joint mortgage, which cost the taxpayer thousands of pounds. Tory Shadow Home Office Minister David Ruffley is said to have flipped his home before spending thousands on fitting it out. And Tory David McLean, the paper says, didn't pay capital gains tax when he sold what he told the Commons was his second home. If Labour MP Gerald Kaufman's watching, hopefully he's getting a good picture. He tried to claim more than £8,000 of taxpayers' money for a new TV. No, you didn't hear that wrong, but there was no hint of embarrassment.
I'm going to a constituency surgery, and what my constituents have got to say to me about their problems is much more important than anything I've got to say to you.
Tory MP Anthony Steen didn't quite claim for a moat, but he's accused of using tens of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money to, among other things, look after trees and protect his land from rabbits.
I unfortunately presented a picture which makes me look like a Tory grandee. I'd like to be. I've been looking forward to being a Tory grandee. It may take me a little longer. So the system is lousy.
Back in their constituencies, even those MPs like Luton's Kelvin Hopkins, who'd hardly claimed any money, were feeling the backlash.
This election put me off. Everybody looks to me. They'll look after their own back pocket.
Hard to ask for support when the trust has gone. Lucy Manning, ITV News, Westminster.
Regaining voters' trust is now, of course, a priority for politicians after more than a decade, as the MP for Bury North, David Chater, will be hoping people there will still back him. But whatever the outcome of the investigation into his expenses, with a majority of less than 3,000, that could be an uphill battle. From Bury, Neil Connery reports.
On the streets of Bury, the allegations against MP David Chater were greeted with surprise and anger. Many of his constituents we spoke to said they felt betrayed and let down.
The country's just been ripped off. We're struggling to make a living and they're just ripping the country off.
There's one law for us and there's one law for them, so at the end of the day, they should be punished just the way that we.
Labour Party activist Margaret Fulham told me the local party is struggling to make sense of David Chater's actions.
I think it's difficult to understand how you can make a mistake over an issue as big in most people's lives as a mortgage. It's something that for most people, once that mortgage is paid off, it's kind of, wow, you know, this is a huge financial burden that's been lifted.
Jane Lewis is also a Labour Party activist here.
Bury North is a marginal constituency. So, you know, we were struggling before to keep, you know, the vote going. It's going to be even more difficult now. But, you know, people have to appreciate the values of the Labour Party aren't affected by this, you know, because the grassroots are absolutely appalled.
David Chater has apologised for what he's called an unforgivable error, but his constituents and his local party are waiting to hear his full explanation. David Chater's suspension from the Parliamentary Labour Party has been broadly welcomed here, but many constituents feel it's not enough. They're angry over these allegations and believe that a criminal investigation is urgently needed. Neil Connery, ITV News, Bury.
Well, back to Lucy in Westminster now. Lucy, the Prime Minister very clear now on what will happen to anyone who's broken the rules.
Well, the Prime Minister's been accused of not being tough enough or acting quickly enough to deal with these Labour MPs caught up in the expenses scandal. David Cameron set up a scrutiny committee to deal with his MPs to get them to pay back money. But the Prime Minister now faces 2 of his MPs being suspended and the Justice Minister Shahid Malik temporarily stepping down. So he's saying he won't rule out any sanctions against any of his MPs. Labour sources are saying, look, we are being tougher than the Tories on this. We are referring people to the parliamentary sleaze watchdog. I mean, that is true, but it's also true that their 2 MPs, David Chater and Elliot Morley, are facing the most serious charges. These are, of course, just allegations at the moment.
But, Lucy, it's also politics as a whole that's suffering.
Yes, that's right. The polls in some of tomorrow's papers show that both Labour and the Conservatives have been hit by this expenses scandal. But it is very worrying news for the Labour Party. An Independent on Sunday poll has them at their lowest ever poll rating. Now, I stood here exactly the same place last week and said the same thing, but they have fallen even lower to just 21%. And the Mail on Sunday has them at the European elections on the same level as UKIP. Now, that's a very uncomfortable place for the Prime Minister to be.
Lucy, thank you. The Ministry of Defence has named a serviceman killed in Afghanistan. 21-year-old Jason Mackey from the Royal Marines Armoured Support Group died in Helmand Province on Thursday. His family have paid tribute to him, describing him as 1 in a billion. His commanding officer said Marine Mackey was a colourful, cheerful and enthusiastic young man. The Armoured Support Group has lost a brave and skilled operator, but more than this, we've lost a loyal and popular friend. The parents of Madeleine McCann are to take legal action against a former Portuguese police chief. Gonçalo Amaral led the investigation after the little girl's disappearance 2 years ago. Jerry and Kate McCann say they're taking action to prevent the continuing publication of Amaral's book, which claims that Madeleine is dead. Here's Chris Rogers.
Gonçalo Amaral led the inquiry into the disappearance of Madeleine, but was removed from the case in October 2007. In a statement, Kate and Jerry McCann say the Portuguese detectives' claims had brought them indescribable devastation. We, together with our 3 children, Madeleine, Sean and Amelie, are taking this legal action against Gonçalo Amaral over his entirely unfounded and grossly defamatory claims made in all types of media, both within Portugal and beyond, that Madeleine is not only dead, but that we, her parents, were somehow involved in concealing her body. Their decision was taken in a bid to prevent further publication of Mr. Amaral's book about his investigation, The Truth of the Lie, and his television documentary, containing unfounded theories that particularly damage any hope Madeleine is still alive. Shortly after she disappeared, her parents told ITV News that hope is crucial, not just for the search for their daughter, but also their own sanity.
Through people's help, we have got a lot stronger. We're very lucky in that we've got a fantastic family, really good friends, and even people that don't know us at all have been amazing. I mean, the support we've had has been overwhelming, and it's that really which has kept us strong and kept us positive and hopeful that we will see Madeleine back again with us.
2 years on, they released this new image of Madeleine, aged 6. Using expert advice, her face has been aged. The aim to inspire the media and the public to never give up searching for their daughter. Chris Rogers, ITV News.
India's ruling Congress party coalition are tonight celebrating a big victory in the country's general election. The coalition did better than expected against the nationalist-led opposition alliance, with predictions it'll fall just short of an outright majority. It's thought the win will give Congress a more stable platform to carry through economic reforms. The Sri Lankan government tonight claimed it's effectively defeated the Tamil Tiger rebels. Government troops apparently seized control of the country's entire coastline for the first time in the 25-year war. Little is known of the fate of thousands of civilians trapped in the battle zone. The human rights activist Peter Tatchell was among a number of people arrested in Moscow as police broke up a banned gay pride rally. Mr. Tatchell was later released. The rally was staged to coincide with the Eurovision Song Contest final being held in the city. And 2 astronauts today completed the third of a series of spacewalks to carry out repairs to the Hubble Space Telescope. One of their tasks was to fix a broken camera. It's hoped the mission will enable Hubble to go on working for up to 10 more years. On to sport now. Manchester United have been crowned Premier League champions yet again. It's the 11th time for manager Sir Alex Ferguson and the 18th league title overall for the club. They celebrated in front of their home fans at Old Trafford after a goalless draw with Arsenal gave them the point they needed. Our sports reporter Richard Pallow was there.
23 summers ago, a Scotsman walked into Old Trafford and changed the English football landscape forever. The trophy that saw his Manchester United catch Liverpool on 18 league titles. A real where were you moment.
It's just amazing. The best feeling in the world. It's amazing, isn't it?
Incredible. Except by the men themselves.
Success has become synonymous with this club. 3 trophies already in the bag this season and a 4th on offer at the Champions League final in Rome. Manchester United fans have never quite had it so good. Richard Pallow, ITV News at Old Trafford.
At the other end of the Premier League table, the fight to survive relegation will go down to the last weekend of the season. Middlesbrough are almost certainly doomed after drawing with Aston Villa, and Newcastle's future is also hanging by a thread following another home defeat to Fulham. Hull's draw leaves them in serious danger. Today's results leave 5 teams all at risk of the drop. Middlesbrough will hope they can overtake Hull on goal difference. Newcastle need at least another point to be safe, while Sunderland and West Brom both play tomorrow. In Scotland, Rangers moved to the top of the Premier League with a 2-1 win over Aberdeen. An own goal broke the deadlock in a nervy affair at Ibrox and handed Rangers the